never has there, and I mean this, never has there been an administration that has uplifted and supported Black women as much as President Biden has done. And that's just a fact. The numbers don't lie. So obviously, like you said, we have the Honorable Kamala Harris, a Black woman who has lived experience. She's not just a Black face that he said, come sit down and look nice. She went to Howard University. She's a member of the Divine Nine. She grew up, in a Black church. She's someone that advocates for our issues, Black maternal health and bias in the home appraisal process every single day. Obviously there's the cabinet. The president has a cabinet that I believe is roughly half women, and more Black people in first-time positions than we've ever seen. We're dealing with the war in Ukraine, and two of the faces you see leading that effort are General Lloyd Austin, the first Black person to ever head the Department of Defense, and then you have Lynda Greenfield, the ambassador to the UN, two Black people who you see on TV every single day doing their part in making sure that we're providing the aid that we need to Ukraine. You have Michael Regan, the president signed a law, EPA, the administrator of the EPA, the first Black man, North Carolina A&T grad. And Michael Regan is spearheading the effort to make sure that we get rid of all lead pipes that we know plague our communities, low-income communities across the nation. How can I can never forget Marcia Fudge, Secretary Marcia Fudge, former CBC chair, former congresswoman from Ohio. She's another one joining with Susan Rice and the vice president in getting rid of bias in the home appraisal process and narrowing the racial wealth gap through home ownership, which is critically important. And not enough Black and brown people are able to own homes. Shalonda Young, President Biden has said, if you want to see someone's priorities, take a look at their budget. And I would, challenge us to take that a step further. If you want to see where someone's priorities are, don't just look at their budget, but look at the person in charge of allocating that funding. That is Shalonda Young, the first Black woman to ever be in charge of a federal budget. That is an extremely powerful position. Where the money is, the power is.
That's the Office of...
the Office of Management and Budget. Right. And then
OMB.
OMB, yes, sir. Cecilia Rouse, his chief economist, another Black woman. I mean, these are unprecedented positions that we have seen Black people in, and Joe Biden has made sure to elevate these Black people and ensure that he has people at the helm of these agencies who are viewing these policies through the lens of equity. And of course, we have inside the White House, some of his most trusted advisors, Cedric Richmond, a Morehouse man, Susan Rice, who heads his entire domestic policy portfolio. These are not symbolic positions. These are positions where you have to have someone who is qualified, who is intelligent, who can get the job done or everything falls apart. And he absolutely does that. And I would also mention that we are the first White House to have a head of diversity and inclusion. That job has never existed. It existed on the campaign, and now he is a senior advisor to the president. His name is Michael Leach, and his entire job and his entire office is to ensure diversity throughout the administration.
And what's his name again?
Michael Leach.
Michael Leach.
Yes.
Oh, great. That's a new position.
It is a new position that President Biden created because that's how important it is. So, he wanted a federal government that looks like America, and I'm in that White House every day, and I see our people everywhere.